Hey guys, welcome back to Talk That Talk. I am Alex Martinez, joined none other by Adriel Ramirez. First off, I just want to say thank you for all the support we got on that last video. You guys really showed up for us. Continue to subscribe, continue to like, comment, and share it with your friends, family. We love the support. We love that way of that video shooting because it was something new that we were trying to do with this channel. So without further ado, let's get into this week's topic, and we're going over trap. Fetty Wap, Bad Bunny, Nah, guys, Trap, the 2024 movie, thriller, horror, mystery, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So it's another Shyamalan movie. I don't know how Adriel feels about his directing, but I think he hits and misses a lot. So this was one of those where we'll get into how we feel about it. Stars in it are Josh Hartnett, Ariel Donahue, and Salika Shyamalan, none other than M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. So, Adriel, was this where did this one? This is open Discord. Where did this one rank on Shyamalan's directing? Is it like a high Shyamalan movie for you, a mid tier, or a low tier?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it was more mid than anything. I felt this had. I don't know why. I mean, I like M Night Shyamalan. I feel like a lot of people kind of. I don't want to say are over him. I feel like they kind of are like hit and miss with him a lot right now.
Yeah,
So I was, I'm higher on his movies than a lot of other people. So I was excited for when this was announced and I seen the trailer and everything else. This was just one of the mill kind of for me. Like there was
yeah,
when you go into an M Night Shyamalan movie, you kind of are expecting twists and turns and kind of like a surprise twist at the end, maybe. But this one
yeah,
didn't really have anything. This was just more of like a straightforward, like suspense thriller type of thing. It was just like I'm trying to recall one of the movies from like late 2000s or like late 90s, early 2000s type of movies. But for whatever reason, I can't. But I don't know. It had that kind of vibe of just like there's a quote unquote like a manhunt for this specific person. They have them kind of
yeah.
trapped. It's just I don't know. Just like there wasn't really much that happened in this movie that I was just like, oh, this is crazy. Like, oh my god, like this. To me, I just felt like this was just an average movie that probably, if it didn't get made, I don't know if it would have my life would have changed anymore. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I have to put it in the middle. It wasn't nothing crazy. We'll get further into the discussion later, but like as of right now, like it's just to answer the question, it was kind of just middle of the pack for me. What about you?
Yeah, same thing, dude. Like, if we think M Night Shyamalan, we all love his plot twist, Even in his daughter's film, where there was a plot twist, that's what we were like. I don't know about you, but I was waiting. I was like, "Where's the plot twist? Where's the plot twist? Where's the
Yep.
plot twist?"
Yep.
Uh, and it just seemed like it kept me on edge for a bit, but that final act was like, okay, this was a big letdown, and for the most part, the movie seemed like out of convenience. And I don't know if you watched like Brooklyn Nine-Nine when he catches the guy who killed the dentist, and he's like, "You got lucky at every turn." It's like you've had the keys in your car. This and this. I was like, this dude literally was the luckiest serial killer in known to man. Like
Yeah.
everything lined up perfectly for him. Getting
Yeah.
getting a badge to swipe around, having a getaway tunnel, like all that stuff. Like we have a spoilers thing on this one, right? Like I don't want. All right.
Yeah. Is there a
If you
spoiler?
haven't watched, if you haven't watched it yet, you guys go watch it. But yeah, there's gonna be some spoilers that we're going over. But yeah, it just as far as M Night Shyamalan's films, like I don't know where you rank The Sixth Sense, but I put that one really high because of that reveal at the end. Like
Yeah.
years later, you're like, oh, it was pretty obvious. But like when you first watched The Sixth Sense, you're like,
No.
oh shit,
Yeah.
like homie's dead. And like that was like the craziest one. I think he also did like Split, which was really good to me. But then he did movies like The Happening, and let me see, what was the last one I remember that I didn't really like? Devil, which was like I think the elevator one with the plot twist of the old lady being the the demon or whatever. That was one of those where I was like, ah, dude, I didn't really need this, like those films, and that's why I said this one's a mid tier because it was suspenseful. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. That dude that was selling T-shirts, like that was a pretty comedic scene, especially the end trailer and all
Post
that
credit,
stuff.
yeah.
So it's just, but yeah, that's where he falls in my realm as far as that. But there was like little things that they brought into this thing. His daughter being the main pop star. What do you think about her songs? Like, did you feel
I
like
felt
she can
like
be an
her.
actual pop star, or was it more catered to the movie and it looked like fans were just there?
No, so that's one thing I was gonna get about, like, our one aspect of the movie I really wanted to talk about. That I liked her character overall. I felt like her the singing was good. She seems like someone that if it was on, I wouldn't turn it off. She has a good voice.
Yeah.
The fact that she created an album just for this whole movie, like all of its original songs for it, like to me that's really creative. That's songwriting skills are there, so that's good. But what I was gonna mention was I really liked how this was kind of like a not like a first person or like direct POV type of view, but like I like how it was from the camera work was focused on Josh Hartnett and his daughter, and
Yeah.
how like their vantage point from the stage as they got closer to the stage, more of the stage was able to be seen. And just the way everything was like portrayed was kind of singularly around them, and I like that because like they seemed like even when they were focused in on like the daughter watching her on stage, the stage was so blurry. Like you
Yeah.
can see the figure and like a silhouette, and you can obviously
Yeah.
hear her, but it wasn't like she wasn't. She becomes more of a focal point towards the end of the movie, but I would say during the whole like big suspense first and second acts of the movies, she wasn't really
Yeah.
like a big focal point. So I feel like that kind of didn't really work out too well, at least for me. Like why she was this, obviously, she was the singer and she was the reason why the trap was made and the concert and everything. But at the same time,
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy to me that they kind of thrust her into, okay, now she's this big focal point in the third act. But all in all, I thought she was good. And like you said, the singing was good. It wasn't like bad or anything, but yeah, she did her job. I guess I should say.
Yeah, and then I think they fell short on the writing aspect of the film because they were like, "Oh, we found out who the butcher was because he bought tickets to this concert." And then it flipped around in the beginning of the film where they're like, "Oh, this concert is just for the butcher." Like I was like, like, bro, what do you? If you guys are drawing a long line on whether this is it, and then I was waiting for that, like at the whole movie. I was like, this guy is so detail oriented. You say he has OCD, homie is not leaving the receipt anywhere for the feds to catch, like or anyone to catch. And just me being a concert goer, I'm like, why is his receipt not on his email? And like, who has a concert receipt anymore? Like, I get a ticket stub or something, but like, who has a concert receipt anymore?
I guess like the flaw of it was when the profiler was saying that he was going to try to cover his tracks. He's going to stay calm. He's OCD. They had everything down to his car color based off all that stuff. So they couldn't like that one small piece. You wouldn't have thought like. I mean, obviously it ended up being him and everything else, but at the same time, I would have been like, my guy who I'm profiling to be this person would not have made this simple mistake.
Yeah,
So I don't know. That part was weird. And another thing too, like kind of going back to what you were saying earlier about him being like the luckiest person, I felt like a lot of the things that happened, he wouldn't like. I feel like there's no way that it should have happened. Like when he grabbed the car key, okay, I can kind of see, maybe the guy didn't feel it or whatever. But the part that like bugged me the most in the movie is when he got the police radio. Because one, I felt like when he was listening in to like a police, like what do you call like the
a
briefing?
briefing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he was listening into the briefing. No one noticed him somehow. Like the guy was talking, could clearly see over everybody, could see him. He's not a short guy. He's like 6 foot something,
Hmm.
so he's kind of out of place. And then at the same time, when he's walking out, he grabs the radios. Like no one saw him do that. Like a room full of police who are on high alert don't notice something that happens right in front of them. Like I don't know. To me, that was just like I guess it was one of those plot devices that needed to happen to further the story. But at the same time, you could have had it been done a different way. Because I was like, again, maybe it's nitpicking, but I was like, that doesn't seem realistic. I don't know. It wasn't it kind of rubbed me the wrong way?
Yeah, because not that I know any police briefing, but I feel like if you were briefing like your team at a certain point, you wouldn't want anybody that isn't part of your police force hearing the briefing unless it was like set up that way. And to have a random guy, even if he is a worker, be in your briefing, you're like, hold up, you're not supposed to be knowing this information for the
Yeah.
most part. And that was the thing. And then it just like me personally when he's like, oh, can I get some coffee real quick, guys? Like, I was like, bro, that should have been like, why aren't we interrogating this guy? Why aren't we checking his card? Like, no one checked his card or asked him for the password or anything. He was just
Yeah.
there and he got through. You
Especially
know?
because that comes up later on, and it's like, well, again, why are these people doing their job the right way, and then the other people was in a room full of everybody, and especially like like probably their sergeant giving their briefing, and
Yeah.
he didn't like he's not the one that gonna follow the rules. So I don't know. It was that part like was really weird too, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's nitpicking.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I was like, this is where it felt mid tier for me because of the writing issues in this movie.
Yeah.
Let me pivot another way direction in this conversation. Were you happy with M Night Shyamalan's, or did you see any like plot twists, or were you expecting a plot twist? And if there wasn't a plot twist, which plot twist would you would have favored for M Night Shyamalan film?
So there was one that I thought that was gonna happen. So this was in the third act of the movie. So yeah, again, spoilers, but he goes in, he reveals himself to the singer, and it was like,
Yeah,
oh, if you don't take me out of here with you, I'm gonna kill this dude. It goes that whole route, and
yeah,
then I felt like I don't know if it was because of it was in front of his family or what, but I felt like when the singer started acting weird because she asked to go to their house, and then when they get to
yeah,
their house, she starts acting really weird and suspicious and everything. If I was her
yeah,
wife, I would have got suspicious of her, but then he put on this big scene about
yeah,
hanging on the bathroom door trying to get in because she took his phone and everything. But
yeah,
going back to the original question, with the plot twist that I thought was going to happen after all that. After they kind of the family escapes,
yeah,
he gets her again trapped into the freaking limousine, but then she manages to get out, and then he gets away from the cops again. So that he's kind of looking for him. So when his focus is back in on his wife back at the house, I expected him to show up, but the plot twist that I thought was going to happen was I thought she was going to be part of it as well. I thought she was going to be, the second person in this butcher thing that happened. So I thought that was
yeah,
going to be the twist, and then be like they were going to kind of still kind of get of an argument, but be more of like well, I got the heat on me. Why couldn't you finish the job type of thing, or how did we both get this sloppy, or how did we let this happen,
yeah,
or whatever the case was. You know what? I thought they were going to reveal the wife to be it, but it didn't happen. It was just to me, I think that's what ultimately. Obviously, there was a lot of writing flaws and like something that some of the stuff we discussed earlier. But I felt like
yeah,
to me, what made this movie super mid tier for me because there was no
yeah,
plot twist. Like that's something that he's really come to be known for in all his movies. Not so much in his earlier work, but more as he kind of like started to establish himself. He started
yeah,
becoming twists, and like I said, even now, I feel like people go to his movies solely for the twist and for the fact that there was nothing, not even like a small one that I could have been like, I didn't really care for it, but there was just nothing.
uh,
So like, unless I something like flew over my head or whatever, but I
yeah.
there was no kind of plot twist in there. So to me, the plot twist that I wanted to see and the plot twist that I was expecting when it was happening was I thought the wife was going to be part of it. Did you have one in mind?
Yeah, so the only plot twist I guess I that could have been was when he took the bike's tire wire or whatever to unlock his cuff, and I was like, "That's it? Like, is that the end of the movie?" And I was like, "End credit maybe," and then we got the end credit, but it wasn't anything that was like a plot twist. And then what I was thinking the same thing. I was like, maybe the wife or even the daughter would have like a split personality or something,
Yeah,
and like he's taking the fall for his daughter and he just doesn't reveal that aspect of what his daughter is. Like that's the route I was going in my head. I was like, maybe the daughter's like low key because like the way she's singing and all this stuff, like relating to some of these songs, and like you have to listen to the music, you have to listen to some of the lyrics. Like it's really dark. Like, and so I was like, maybe the daughter's like a low key serial killer and she's like bipolar, so she doesn't realize that she's a serial killer. But as soon as like his wife was there, I was like, oh, his wife set him up. Like that was it. Like I was like, it wasn't a big reveal. Like his wife knew about it, like for the most part. And then like as soon as like she decided to stay there, I was like, yeah, this is a trap for him. This is another trap. Like he's gonna come and try to kill her, and he's gonna get caught up or something.
yeah. Which they kind of like maybe foreshadowed, but like it was still in the third act. But like when the
Yeah,
singer was trying to pose as his mom, because I guess that's something that the profiler had told them, like, hey, if you ever get caught in a situation where you're interacting with this guy, he has, we're assuming that he has mother issues, so pose as his mom and it should get you out. So that they kind of
yeah,
hinted at that during like the beginning of the third act. So when it came around again, he sees, I don't even know if she's dead, but like his mom at the door,
Yeah.
but it was actually the profiler this time, and
Yeah.
it worked, and it got him to do it, and then that's when they kind of brought him down or whatever. But that
Yeah.
also that again to bring up the lucky thing, I feel like in any real world scenario, when the dude jumps down to grab the bike, I feel like they would have shot him there. Like he would, or at least at the very
Yeah.
least, held him down and not let him. Like who in there and what?
Why was he taken
Especially,
alive?
yeah, that too. That whole thing, especially this whole chase, everything else, and like you're just gonna let him walk out by himself. And the funny part too, like when I was watching it was during this whole exchange with his wife and everything. His OCD comes out, takes off his shirt so he doesn't get nothing on it, folds it very nicely and everything else. But then when they taser him and everything, he's shirtless. So then I was like, okay, so when they come out of the house, he has a shirt on. So again, I was like, what police are going to give to have the decency to, hey man, cover up before you go out there? And then as they're out there, they're going to give him that time to again pick up his daughter's bike that was falling over. Obviously, it comes to reveal later on he did that strategically to get the little bike spoke out of the wheel, but
Yeah.
like that's another. To me, that's the very reason why you shouldn't have let him because there was a chance of something like that happening. But yeah, I don't know. I have a question for you though. So that's something I
Go
just
ahead.
thought
Go
of
ahead.
right now. When you're right now answering the question as his wife, so when she does her big reveal of she's the rat that ratted him out, ripped the ticket,
Yeah.
left it there for him to get caught. And if you posing as her, or I guess you and then your spouse would be like the
Or-
butcher or whatever, right? So in the scenario, what would hurt you more? The fact that you were suspicious of your spouse cheating to find them a murderer, or if they were really cheating? Like, which one do you think would hurt more?
Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of people are looking at this in that perspective, right? I went with someone and we were talking about this. I was like, if I found out the person I was with having a happy life, his children, raising children, he's a firefighter or she's a firefighter. Hey, love is love, but not for me. All right, that's not me. All right, but if she's a firefighter and like she's a serial killer, right? I'm gonna be like, I'd be so like in awe, but she wasn't 100% sure, so she set up the trap and all that stuff, and like found out. Like I think it in all reality, if I were to find out one or the other, I don't know if you've been cheated on, but I've been cheated on twice, so it's like I would I wouldn't want to be cheated on. I'd rather find out you're a bad person
Murderer?
and just say, yeah. I was like, you're a murderer. You were good to me though. You were nice to me, but you're a murderer.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean, I know this. I don't know if it's like a victim mentality or whatever, but I
yeah,
felt like I would have been like, how did I not ever notice this? Like, why did it take
yeah,
me until however many years of marriage and after two kids and everything to
yeah,
figure this out? Like, what made me more suspicious this time as opposed to last time? Or
yeah,
all the past or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I think if I would have found out like my wife right now was having a double life as a murderer, I would I don't even know how I would react. Like, you know what? I don't even want you to know that I know because I don't even want you to come after me like that. Like, I might have to just
yeah.
slip away in the nighttime or something because I don't want you knowing that I know. That's a whole another can of worms. But
So,
yeah,
like, if you found out your wife was a killer, are you calling the cops right away, or are you setting up a trap?
so that's the thing. I don't know. I think I would try to. And again, I feel like I would maybe try to set up a trap, but not to that point of like. I think it would be more so for my knowledge than it would be like a trap to get him arrested and everything else. I'll try to see if I can get her to slip up or something. That way I can be like, okay, this is for sure a certainty. Now I gotta act on it. Because then I feel like if
Yeah,
it's just me being suspicious and I'm wrong, and then it
yeah,
comes out that I'm the one that set up this trap to get my wife caught up and she's not even the killer. Like I feel like that's even worse. So I don't know. I feel like I would try to
yeah.
trip her up on my
It's a
own.
strain on your marriage, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Unnecessary drama. You're supposed to be
Yeah,
trusting her.
yeah,
Like I was
exactly.
like, why didn't you just ask? Why if you guys were so happy, why didn't you just ask?
Yeah,
Hey, you killing people?
yeah. But hey, is this you? Do you happen to be murdering people on your days off? I don't know, but it was. I mean, all in all, I felt like this movie was okay. Like I felt I had higher expectations
Uh,
for it, but it was just okay.
yeah, it wasn't too crazy. Like I was really excited. I think the trailers got me amped up. I expected more cunningness from the killer. I wanted like some James Bond type of thing. I thought the dude that got him the shirt was gonna die for sure.
especially when he had it
I
on the
thought he
peanut
was gonna
butter.
get put in a yeah. I thought he was gonna be put in a box or something, you know, like hidden from plain sight. Got this company card, all that stuff, and I was like, oh, dude, like it's one of those things where he's just getting lucky at every turn, getting picked to go backstage. Seeing M Night Shyamalan, a little cameo, being like his her uncle and like a person that chooses the person that gets to go backstage, and then just always the profiler being right next to them but never turning directly at him.
Yeah,
Like I feel like if I was an FBI agent looking for a killer, my eyes would be on edge. Like I'd be looking around
everywhere.
24/7, especially like after an altercation or like see who reacts, like
Yeah,
who remains calm, all that stuff. Because she sounded like she was a good profiler, but I was like, if have you ever looked up once? Like,
and that's the thing that kind of like made me. There were some moments of like really brilliant writing, but then other moments of like you're kind of contradicting yourself a little bit. Like you said, she's a really good profiler. She knew his every move without even knowing who he is or what he really looks like. But her descriptions of this guy were like spot on, even down to having like, and again, I don't know how the hell she would know this, but down to having like, I think she said an animal tattoo on his wrist, and he had like that
yeah,
triangle with the bunny or whatever. And I was
yeah,
just like, how do you know that if you don't know who he is? Or even like about again the things that were really good about again his luck when he had the radio in his ear, and she was like, oh, he's gonna try to cause a mass hysteria. He's probably gonna pull the fire alarm, and like he went to reach for it, and he was like, okay, well I can't do that now. Like he
yeah,
just called it out. So he did other things to distract him. And yeah, I just think it went back to what do they call it? He had plot armor like 100% of the
yeah,
time. Because like at every like turn that he was where he probably should have been caught, he had some type of luck that again the plot armor was
yeah,
just there. Like when he got onto the roof, he freaked out. You know, he seen the person, and then he was like, "Oh, what's the word? What's the code word?" And then he said it, and then he's like, "All right, what about the card?" And then he had like so happened to fall onto the card. Where like I don't even the way he looked at it didn't even make it seem like it was put away in the water. It was just like on top of it or whatever.
yeah,
And then right after that, just because this person had the code word and the card, why would a police officer reveal like who's leading the briefing? Like when he asked the question about her, like, oh, who was that lady? She seemed like she was in charge. Like I'd have been like, yeah, that's none of your business, dude. Like you go get out of here before you're not allowed to go back to work
yeah,
or whatever. So
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of real world scenarios that happen in this movie that didn't really make sense, and that was just I think
yeah,
I don't know. Again, it was just I don't know if it was lazy writing or maybe things that he didn't think of. Maybe he didn't like partner with anybody on like when he was making up these scenarios. But I feel like
yeah,
a lot of it was just 100% plot armor for him just to get from one scene to the next scene to the next act to the next act to the final act.
yeah. That was the thing. Like at the final thing where they had to go through the policeman, I was like, okay, yeah, how's he gonna get out of this? Like this has to be something creative. And homie just says, by the way, you're looking for me. And
Yeah,
I was
bro.
like,
Yeah,
I was like, what? I was like, at least threaten like to kill her or something, like if she says anything. But he's like, no, I'm gonna kill this person that you have no connection to.
yeah, and then
I'm not.
especially
I
that whole thing
was
too.
like,
Yeah, because I felt like even when she went like on Instagram Live or whatever, like when she was
yeah,
asking for the help about the statue and the door and everything else, I felt like you can hear the conversation that's going through this door. This door's not made
who are
out
you
of lead.
talking to?
Yeah, it's not made out of lead or anything. Like you can hear it at that point, especially because you're already making a scene in front of your family. That ship has already sailed. Kick the door in, bro. Like supposed to be this high end like serial killer that's going around killing everybody, and you're not gonna kick in the door when you're like this close from being like captured by the police. I don't know. It was just really weird.
Yeah, he lost all leverage. Take your leverage back. As strong as that dude was depicted in the whole film, like I was like, bro, you could take that door. Like
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
that was just my take on it for the most part.
He took at least like 3 or 4 tasers. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
And then like I felt like after every one, he got like stronger. Like it just made him like he just
yeah,
turned into the Hulk. Like
he was
matter he got,
absorbing
the
it.
fun. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was a movie of convenience. We said it was a mid tier and not Shyamalan films. I don't feel as it was a failure on the actors. I thought he was a pretty decent actor. I thought Night Shyamalan's daughter did pretty well. His daughter was good too. She was like, I feel like if I was a daughter or if I was a son with a with a father or parent. Not we're cutting deep right now. If I was in that situation and I noticed like, hey, you're not trying to watch this with me. First of all, like I wouldn't go to a concert with my mom. Like, no offense, mom, I love you and all that stuff, but I'm not going to a concert of like my favorite artist with you. Like,
Yeah,
I'm taking someone that's actually gonna like this person. Like, if you bought me the tickets, then I probably think about it. But it's like, for the longest, like I can't relate to that aspect of my parents paying for me to go to a concert.
yeah.
Um,
But I think it might just
so
have to do with like him trying to do it just because of whatever was happening with her friends.
yeah,
I think he was just trying to bring up, as a parent, he kind of just noticed like, oh, my kid needs this like little boost. So I just, again, it was on her to like, I guess to allow him to go. But I think it was just the dad trying to do the good thing. But to before I hand it back off to you again, I felt like the mom of the friend like she was beefing with, so
yeah,
annoying, bro. I felt like she was like there was. I understand it's supposed to be like a reoccurring character and everything, but she
yeah.
was just like after the first time they talked, that should have been it. There was no reason for them to keep having interactions and everything else. I felt like it was just too much.
No, and I think it's one of those things where like we could all relate to one of those moms or one of those parents that are blind to what their kids are.
Yeah,
Because she was like, "Oh, girls will be girls, this, and that," and then like you see it when like homegirls on the stage dancing with the pop star, her daughter starts like being a freaking brat, and then like they start like throwing, she throws the soda at her own mom. I was like, yeah, everyone knows like one of those kids that like what do you call it, pushovers their parents, like,
yeah.
and so I think that was one of the things where she was like, but when she was like, I have a dark side, I was like, oh, not this shit. Like, but yeah, that her aspect was so annoying. Yeah, and then I was thinking of like like it depicts like the perfect father daughter scenario, right? Like a loving father who's there for his daughter that's going through troubling times. Like, it's rewarding A's and B's, like he's like, I wouldn't have got those grades. Like, you did a good job. That's why I got you these concert tickets. But I was like, hey, homies hasn't made for a firefighter, man. Like, those
Oh
those
yeah,
tickets aren't cheap. Like,
some floor seats. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, two floor seats, and then the homie like talked around just to get like her on stage. That leukemia line, I was like, oh my god.
kind of genius though, because I felt like he. I mean, again, it just might have been him being like a serial killer and everything else, but I felt like that
Yeah,
kind of lie is not something you think of on the spot. And again, he obviously his life is pretty much on the line, so he had to think of something to be like, I got to find a way to get out of here. But then again, like, that goes back to the beginning of that freaking security guard, or I don't know if he heard it on the radio or I forgot where he got the
yeah.
information from, but the information in general being like, oh, the only way you can get out of here is through backstage. Like, I feel again that was just they threw that out of him just so that he had the convenience of getting out of there. Because I feel like if he didn't know that, there was no way he was going to get out of that concert.
Yeah. And also like just like the I guess like the PA that was helping them at the backstage saying, "Oh yeah, you can go back here." Like
Oh yeah,
like
it,
everyone is in on this job about not letting anyone sneak out of here, and you're just going to let a guy just cuz he's a loving father, which to repeat myself, like I saw this dude, her trying to interact with him. "Oh, your daughter's never going to forget this." And he went like
yeah, like
like
but to me, I felt like to speak on Josh Hartnett, like his acting in this movie, I felt like it was really good because like, you can tell like he really played up to, like the person who just got like the worst news of their life every single time. Like
yeah.
when he first talked to the guy about the t-shirts about what was going on, and he told him the plan
Yeah.
and everything else like that. He definitely looked like a guy that was like trying not to lose his shit. He would just get like he had that face on like you just told me like the one thing I didn't want to hear right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was. I felt like he had his acting skills. I mean, I can't remember the last movie that I seen with him. Maybe Lucky Number Slevin, maybe when that came out, however long
Yeah.
ago. Obviously, the most memorable one that I have of him is 40 Days and 40 Nights. But I felt like he was a really good actor, like when he was like in, but way back when. But like even now coming back, I feel like he did an amazing job. That's why I feel like it's more of writing, like how you pointed out earlier, it was more writing
Yeah.
than it was acting because I believed everything that he was selling. Like he was able to act really well with his eyes. The anytime he had to lie through a scenario, obviously us as the audience who's kind of going through it with him knows that he's lying, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you can see his thought process, and so like I felt like his acting was really on point in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the last couple of works, he was in an episode of The Bear, an episode of Black Mirror, and he was Ernest Hemingway in Oppenheimer.
Oh, he was
A
an Oppenheimer, huh?
smaller role. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like his acting was A1, and I think that's what puts it up there as far as a film, like what separated. I think the acting of all characters on this was really well. I just think that where this movie fell was the plot. Just too much convenience that happened. If it was more like a clever murderer thought process, and he was just like murdering people actually, and like getting away with it, it would have been 10 times better for me. Like,
At least have him kill one person when he's there. You know, like
yeah,
he's panicking and that's what he does. He's a serial killer. Like
yeah.
have him kill one person.
Yeah, like you're not even showing me. You're showing me he killed 12 people. Like he should have no problem murking some of these dudes for access cards, you know? Like
Yeah, yeah.
um and then it was just like even when he got away, like if they would have ended the movie with him using that tunnel and then him taking the pop star away, there's your movie.
Yeah, that'd have been good.
There's your movie. I'm glad with that ending. He got away and he says, "All right, we're gonna go somewhere." But no, you threw in some extra scenes of him having to be cunning to get away. Which, by the way, like, ain't nobody in the crowd see this dude get out the limo like dressed up. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like when he got out, I know for sure for me when I seen that scene, I'd have been like, he's right here. This dude got out of the limo. Like this is this dude. Like I would have been pointing. I'd have been doing a whole lot of things. You know, and no one said not one thing. Especially because it was surrounded the whole time. So it's not like no one would have saw him sneak out. Like it was
yeah,
covered. They were covered. Yeah. So like I said, it was just plot armor, man. Like a lot of
yeah.
plot armor. But
Homie was untouchable until he had like three tasers in him. That was it.
yeah,
And
until
then
until they needed
I,
him to go down.
that was the other thing. Like them taking him alive, I was like, that makes no sense, dude. Like he's coming at y'all with a freaking machete. That's I don't know. I'm not trying to like promote police brutality, but that's gunned down. Like this dude has a deadly weapon. He's known to kill. That is free fire. But you guys use three tasers. Let him hurt one of your guys.
I'm pretty
Like
sure that dude died. Like that dude got his eyes.
yeah,
The dude got freaking.
he got Game of Thrones
Yeah, I was
Oberyn.
just about to say that. Yeah, he
Elia Martell.
got his head freaking squished, bro. I was like, damn, like this dude.
Rhaegar.
They really are depicting
Children.
this dude to be
Children.
so strong. But
And that's exactly too. I was like, dude just literally took two tasers and was like, boom, and started breaking this dude's head in. And then he was about to go for another one, but then the profiler got him, and I was like, I don't get this shit, man. Like, how I understand there's dudes that could take tasers, like I've seen it before, but it's just like I was like, why are you guys not shooting at this
yeah, like
point?
this shit, you gotta escalate the force. You know, this shit is not working. You gotta.
Yeah,
This isn't
you don't
working.
have
You
to
gotta go
kill
to
him.
this one.
You don't
Yeah,
have to kill him, but shoot him.
yeah. Put one in his leg at least. Like make it hard for
Yeah,
him. Like don't make
yeah.
it. Don't let him keep
It's
getting
like
up every
you.
single
It's
time.
like you have a case, bro. Like this dude is
For
not
sure. You
gonna
came
sue
at you the
you.
first time with a hatchet, and then
Yeah,
squeezing this dude's head out, and then yeah, I don't know. It was just again, he's
I
just
think
for him to get away.
that's a thing. That's a thing people might talk about too. It's like, oh, just because he's a white guy, he didn't get shot. Like,
I'm glad one of us said
because yeah, because if it was a race thing, this dude
it.
would have been shot. I was like, yeah, it's like it would have happened the same thing. Like in Brothers with Bully McGuire, he's like
Yeah.
he's over there with a gun pointing at the cops, and then they're not shooting him, and they're like, we know who you are. I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. You
All it
know?
is. That's all it is. It's all it ever
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's not get too deep into that. But dude, I swear this is gonna hurt me if I think about it after. If let's just put ourselves in the shoes of the killer. At what point do you think, if you were a killer, would you have done anything differently than him?
So that's the hard part because I kept thinking about that throughout the whole movie. Like, is like because like I think that what made me start thinking about it was when they had like that special guest singer come up through the floor, and then he
Russ.
told his daughter, and he was like, "Oh, let's sneak down there and let's go check it out." Like, what sane parent would suggest that to their kid? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just a different type of person, a parent or whatever. But I felt like to me, if your daughter didn't have any red flags about you being suspicious, that should have set off some red flags for sure. Like,
yeah,
you're just displaying some crazy behavior. But then again, like I said, then I got to give him kudos because if I was in his shoes, I don't think I would have thought of that leukemia line. I'm like, oh, my daughter just recovered, like, is there any chance, that you can pick her to be, the, what do they call it, the whatever that the special guest was that she uses. I don't think I would have thought of that. So if there's things like that that I wouldn't have thought of, to be honest, I probably would have got caught because like I feel like with the way my brain works, like I wouldn't even have thought to grab the card key or grab a radio, none of that. I would have tried to been like as incognito into the crowd as I could. But then again, doing that, how much can that's only going to take me so far, because towards the end of the concert, I'm gonna get searched anyway. So like, I probably would have got caught then. So I don't know. Like I don't. Maybe it's because I'm not a mass murderer that I can't think outside the box like that. But I just felt like if I were to make the same moves that he made, I think the only difference that I would have done instead of trying to get to the roof, I would have tried to get like used when he threw whatever he threw into the fryer as an excuse to like melt down and then like get out of there from there. But then again, I left my daughter, so then I've been like, oh, I got caught right there.
Yeah. No, if I'm being honest, maybe because I'm not a father, I would have said fuck them kids. I would have like just you could blurp that out, but I would just left my daughter. Like I would have been gone. I'm about to get caught up. Like I'm not about to see my daughter. Like this is gonna be worse than that.
Yeah,
That actually is a good plan. Like getting myself burnt or something. Like falling down, getting hurt or something.
yeah,
Uh, I at first I would have deleted the app. That would
yeah, for
the
sure.
little app. I probably would have deleted that out of my phone just in case I got caught up or anything. I would stop looking at it.
Yeah, he can't like he was so hyper fixed on it, but maybe that's
Yeah,
because, like I said, maybe he's
it's
just
his Twitch. It's his Twitch. Yeah.
yeah,
And then one of the things is as soon as I got home or out of that thing, I would have known this girl's trying to do something, and all right, I would have just said, "Kill the guy." All right, I'm counting my losses. There's no turning back from this. She knows who I am. Like that thing of him telling her, I was like, all right, that's a way out. I respect it. But literally, you're already caught up at that point. When she asked to go to your house, your kids went upstairs. Your wife is in the kitchen. You're strong enough to just.
yeah,
I'm not aggressive. Don't take me as an aggressive guy. Don't take me as a murderer. But homie was built like buff, like strong. You can't overpower a little girl
yeah,
and get away from that.
yeah,
Oh, she had to leave, and she's in the freaking your car seat or something with her neck snapped or something.
yeah. I
That's
feel
just
like
me.
there's
That's just.
so many ways that he could have went about that differently too, because like like you said, as soon as he told her, I was like, the moment she drops you off at the car, she's gonna call the cops. Like you're done for. And then I don't know at this point if it was smart or not, but when she had asked to go to her house, I was like, okay, if he lets her leave now she knows where you live. Like you're just messing up left and right now. Like you panicked, you made a move. It kind of worked because it got you out of the
Yeah,
arena and out of the trap, but you kind of fallen into a deeper hole with now she for sure
yeah,
knows who you are. She knows what you look
yeah,
like. She knows where you live. So I don't know, I just felt like it kept getting worse and worse for him.
yeah. And I easily would have just like had it to go bag. If I was a murderer, like all right, that's my life. I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. How
It
did
looked
he
like
not?
I think he just wanted to save his. He thought there was a chance he could be like, all right, we're getting away with this now. Like she's not gonna tell anyone.
Yeah. And the other
I was like,
problem that I had too, then not to cut you off, but like it just like came to my mind. Uh Towards the ending of the scene, where they taser him and they're walking him out and everything.
yeah.
How do the cops bring the kids in? Like, why would they do that? That didn't make sense
At
to me.
that time, dude,
Yeah, so that didn't make sense to me.
it made zero sense, dude. Like
Yeah,
I get it, the heartfelt scene of like the daughter, and then that was another thing. That was a plot twist I actually thought of. The daughter was gonna swipe him something.
that would have worked out good too.
I thought that would have been a dope thing. Like his daughter, like give him a chance to like escape and stuff. And like that would have been a better M Night Shyamalan ending, if in my opinion, than the little bike wiring thing.
That or even just like again, I don't know. There could have been so many twists.
Someone else being a butcher
Yeah, or like
person.
picking it up after him getting like taken away, like them picking
Yeah,
up picking up where he left off. I think we could probably do a movie ranking his movies because I still
Yeah.
feel like, at least for me personally, I'm gonna give it away. I guess Signs is still like my number one movie by him. Great
Yeah.
movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. I don't know where you've been living on the rock. If you've never seen that movie,
There's all you need to beat aliens, guys.
water. That's all you need. And across it's across a lot of movies too, so might be telling us something. But for this movie, like you said, it was mid tier. I was expecting a twist. There was no twist. The writing was kind of poor. The acting was great. I think that's what saved it, to be honest. But
Yeah.
to rank this movie, I'm probably going to give it 6 out of 10. Just kind of right in the middle of the road.
I'm a little lower than you, if I'm being honest. The acting is what gives it the 5 base. It just like trying to compare it to all the other thriller movies and all I see, that's what brings it down. Your act of rewatchability, like as like I can't rewatch this movie. I watched it with so much anticipation. I hate doing that because it looked like a really good trailer and all that stuff. Like I thought it was gonna be more cunning, but it fell short. It had a bunch of convenience. The acting was good. That's why it gets the 5 at least. And I see what else. I guess the suspense in the end a little of him getting out, like, and then the comedy scene for the end credit scene, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I
Because
liked it.
as well, let me ask you this real quick before we end it. If you found out you helped the murderer,
I kind of would have been lucky to be. I'd be like, damn, I can't believe I got out alive because I
it's like, I gave this to a box cutter.
At the same time, I kind of would have been nervous. Like, I kind of helped this dude get away. Like, I told him my code word. I took him, behind the scenes somewhere he probably shouldn't have seen. Like, I would have been like, oh
and,
fuck.
to-
Like, I'm probably,
and told him his best route is going backstage.
yeah, like he gave him the whole, plot to get away, pretty much. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have got nervous if it was like me in real life. I'd have been like, yo, I messed up bad, like real
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. So like as far as that, I give this movie a 5.5. Yeah, it didn't hit any marks for me. I don't know if that's the worst movie we ranked this year, or at least I've ranked this year, because I think you guys
Maybe.
were lower on Civil War and I was really
Yeah.
high on Civil War, but this one fell short for me because it's like acting was all it that carried it for the most part for me. The music was pretty good, but yeah, it just the plot. I need a plot in the movie. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Like that's not gonna do it for me. M Night, I love you. Your what's his daughter's name? Salika. We 1 year apart. What if like you ever in Pomona?
There it is. There it is.
Your boy. Let's talk that talk, you know. But yeah, guys, that's it for us here. Again, thank you for the support that we got in the last video. Thank you for the support we've got since we opened this channel. I'm back on social media, so I'm posting and all that stuff. There is a TikTok in the works that we're talking about creating. More to come this year. Definitely gonna have a new scenery in the background. A lot of stuff going on in the back behind the scenes. But thank you guys for the support. Like, comment, share this video with someone else. If they're thinking about going to watch Trap, send them this before they watch Trap, and maybe they'll
Wait
change
till it
their
goes
mind.
streaming. Wait till it goes streaming.
Yeah, right. Facts. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Peace.